I am here at Genuine Joe's Coffee, and I'm reading this book about photography, and it talks about the author and the unique gifts that this, or not the author, I guess it's talking about a specific photographer, and it's describing how unique she is, and that her photography is also photojournalism. Even though her photography is not captioned, she is able to depict very dramatic settings in a beautiful way, tragic settings in her photos, and create photojournalism in those photos with how emotional and deep and true that they are. And so this book is really captivating right now, and I'm reading it. But I wanted to record the video because, well, earlier I was going to actually start the video because I was confused. I wasn't sure if I understood a certain part of what they were saying, what they were describing here. And I also thought it was cool that they brought up photojournalism, because that's literally what I posted about this the other day. So they're talking about photojournalism here. But what's really neat is that, so there's two things. The first girl that I was ever with, her younger sister's name was Evelyn, and that's the photographer that we're talking about here. So that's kind of interesting. And also, if you read here, it says, "Note to Evelyn, you can't say that anymore, dear. The first photo I saw in the series was a translucent leaf she shot in Ecuador in 1999. That was pretty cool. I was born in 1999. So, man, it's pretty neat. Totally symbolic. I guess I'll just keep reading while I have the camera on. Just go ahead and read out loud to myself. So here we go. From a photographic standpoint, it is certainly the masterpiece of the book. I would like to see it blown up, Andreas Gursky said, sized. But it was on top of my desk, and I didn't realize it was Evelyn's, and I didn't even realize it was a leaf. And it at first struck me as a highway divided by fields. Then it struck me as a detail of a piece of machinery. All my references were to man and the way he grabs the symmetry and lines that nature taught him and uses those references to destroy nature. Needless to say, I was very happy to discover it was a leaf. Delirious, in fact. There's a school of art criticism that argues that work should be viewed divorced from the personality who made it. That the artist as celebrity of Jack Pollock in Life magazine has polluted criticism. And I encourage you to forget about who Evelyn is at first and be lost in these photos as photos that transport. But then I encourage you to be awed by what else they represent, which is a commitment to preserving both these visions on film and her vision of what her life should be and is. In a time when we want to put everything in a box because it's easier for us to deal with stereotypes of the corporate titan, the fashionable socialite, the loving wife, the good mother, and the bleeding heart philanthropist, Evelyn will not be put in a box. She is all of those things, true sometimes, but her work in photography is a strong, decisive statement on her part. Her camera has not only given her the ability to operate freely in yet another world, it has offered her yet another world to feel at home in. Like her cloud formation photo, she sees a whale. Many of the works in this collection are impressionistic, Yet I defy anyone who looks through its pages, really looks, not to end the journey by making plans to take a trip to some uninhabited nirvana. She is an avid art collector, and the works she loves inform her photography as much as the nature does. In Evelyn's apartment, she has real stuff hanging around that most of us had as posters in our dorm room. So what she references at Rothko, she knows whereof she speaks, as they say. When I came across her Rothko's Sunset, January 1997, I got my Rothko book off my bookshelves, which have replaced my dorm room posters, and found painting number 7, 1960, which Rothko considered one of his greatest works and never sold. He never sold. Evelyn knows all about Rothko, and Rothko knew all about sunsets, and her photo offers proof. One of my favorites is this collection. And this collection is Balcones Laundry Banners, Havana, December 1998. Knowing Evelyn as I do, one of the greatest pleasures I have in looking at the photos is imagining her in these places. The perspective of the photo gives me a photo in my mind of Evelyn, head tipped backward, craning up at the sky. Or again, from the Cuba series, Busy Gates, which is a celebration of a wooden gate carved with graffiti, and behind the spindles in the windows, we can see people standing in colorful clothes. Evelyn makes even her busy gates seem peaceful. But for me, it's Evelyn singling out the gates, standing there and capturing the monument to themselves carved by Rafael Caluja and Pepe from Puerto Rico, and Manuel and Carlitos Roman. Ultimately, photography is about choice, what the photographer captures and what she doesn't capture. Evelyn chose to capture Pepe from Puerto Rico's gift to the gates. I had an occasion to write a story about Evelyn recently from the New York Times Magazine, and owning to the ethics of this institution, felt compelled to open it by noting, full disclosure, Evelyn Lauder saved my life. With her fundraising for cancer research, there are many people who can say that, and articles still must be written. So I'm compelled to offer this full disclosure as well. Mostly, I love Evelyn's photos because I love Evelyn. It's her fault, of course, that her utterly charming, generous personality makes me love her so, and creates this conflict of interest. But fortunately, her embrace of life, her vast understanding of art, her curiosity about the world at large, and her ability to isolate the beauty in any situation are the informing principles of her photography. So the converse works. If you love Evelyn's photos, you'll love Evelyn too, which is what personal vision in photography is all about. I look at the rat race full of rats and the politics of art and the commercialization of the culture, and I feel good to see Evelyn's photos reach the stage every time. It's true that Evelyn's other art, her business acumen, and her philanthropy does get a lot of attention. Wouldn't it be great if we hang that on the wall and admire the lives she saved, the lives she's changed? Whoever said God doesn't give with both hands obviously never met Evelyn Lauder. But then maybe God only gives with both hands when the person gives back. Pretty cool. And that was just the introduction.